Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotar Shata Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotar Shata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sat Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the Sama devotees. All glories to the Sama devotees. All glories to the Sama devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Sure, I can give an improv class. I'm good at that.
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So, Canto 6, Chapter 19, Text 5. यथा त्वं कृपया भूत्या तेजसा महिमौजसा जुष्ट ईश गुणैः सर्वैः ततोऽसि भगवान् प्रभुः। यथा त्वं कृपया भूत्या तेजसा महिमौजसा जुष्ट ईश गुणैः सर्वैः ततोऽसि भगवान् प्रभुः। यथा त्वं कृपया भूत्या तेजसा महिमौजसा जुष्ट ईशा गुणैः सर्वैः ततोऽसि भगवान् प्रभुः। यथा त्वं कृपया भूत्या तेजसा महिमौजसा जुष्ट ईश गुणैः सर्वैः ततोऽसि भगवान् प्रभुः। यथा त्वं कृपया भूत्या तेजसा महिमौजसा जुष्ट ईश गुणैः सर्वैः ततोऽसि भगवान् प्रभुः। यथा त्वं कृपया भूत्या तेजसा महिमौजसा जुष्ट ईश गुणैः सर्वैः ततोऽसि भगवान् प्रभुः। यथा as tvam you कृपया with mercy bhutya with opulences tejasa with prowess mahima ojasa with glory and strength jushtaha endowed isha O my Lord gunai with transcendental qualities sarvaihi all tataha therefore asi you are Bhagavan the Supreme Personality of Godhead Prabhu the Master. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O my Lord, because you are endowed with causeless mercy, all opulences, all prowess and all glories, strength and transcendental qualities, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of everyone. Purport. In this verse, the words Tatosi Bhagavan Prabhu mean, therefore, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Master of everyone. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is endowed with all six opulences in full, and moreover, he is extremely kind to his devotee. Although he is full in himself, he nonetheless wants all the living entities to surrender unto him so that they may engage in his service. Thus he becomes satisfied. Although he is full in himself, he nonetheless becomes pleased when his devotees offer him patram pushpam phalam toyam, a leaf, flower, fruit or water in devotion. Sometimes the Lord, as the child of Mother Yashoda, requests his devotee for some food, as if he were very hungry. Sometimes he tells his devotee in a dream that his temple and his garden are now very old, and that he cannot enjoy them very nicely. Thus he requests the devotee to repair them. Sometimes he is buried in the earth, and as if unable to come out himself, he requests his devotee to rescue him. Excuse me. Sometimes he requests his devotee to preach his glories all over the world, although he alone is quite competent to perform this task. Even though the Supreme Personality of Godhead is endowed with all possessions and is self-sufficient, he depends on his devotees. Therefore, the relationship of the Lord with his devotees is extremely confidential. Only a devotee can perceive how the Lord, although full in himself, depends on his devotee for some particular work. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, text 33, where the Lord tells Arjuna, Nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. O Arjuna, merely be an instrument in the fight. Lord Krishna had the competence excuse me. Lord Krishna had the competence to win the battle of Kurukshetra, but nonetheless he induced his devotee Arjuna to fight and become the cause of victory. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was quite competent enough to spread his name and mission all over the world, but still he depended upon his devotee to do this work. Considering all these points, the most important aspect of the Supreme Lord's self-sufficiency is that he depends on his devotees. Such a contradiction. This is called his causeless mercy. The devotee who has perceived this causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by realization can understand the master and the servant. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. This is the instruction by Shukadev Goswami that one who is performing any vrata, especially this Pumsavana vrata, that's the context, but any vrata, and so part of that vrata should be worship of the Supreme Lord. And in that worship, the exclusive prayer must be just glorification, not about asking anything. That was yesterday's verse. So when we see the Govindam prayers, we call them the Brahma Samhita prayers, Lord Brahma is not asking for anything. Every verse is just a glorification. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Nadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Venum Kwanantam Aravinda Dalayataksham Barahavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusha Tamaham Bhajami. Excuse me. Verse after verse, it's just glorification. So he is giving us what kind of glorification must be there. So today's verse is Yathatvam Kripaya Bhutya Tejasa Mahima Ojasa. That, my dear Lord, you are the embodiment of all opulences, all prowess, Mahima, Ojasa, all strength. And then he says, Jushta, you are endowed with gunai, all the qualities. Krishna is called the ocean of transcendental qualities, Gunarnavasya. Yet there is one, so there may be many persons who are endowed with all these things. They may have strength, they may have fame, glory, physical capacity. And we or an ordinary person may not be able to make the distinction between infinite strength and a lot of strength. Because sometimes when the demigods, they have some immense powers. They can give rain to the entire universe. They can give sunlight and air throughout the universe. That's great. Now, no one can say, that's great, then there is infinite strength. Sometimes it's a little difficult to distinguish that. Because our own ability to appreciate what is a lot and what is infinite, we don't know. So then, in this verse particularly, there is one quality that distinguishes Krishna very amazingly. That is his causeless mercy. This aspect of Krishna, that he is very merciful in general, and especially to his devotees, makes him, or makes the conclusion that says, Tato asi Bhagavan Prabhu. And this is why you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because everyone has a capacity and a limit to which they can be merciful. Remember, we've been talking about everyone has a threshold. There's a limit for any one of us. We can be kind. We can be very kind. Some of us can be very, very kind. And some of us can add about 20 veries before our kindness. But none of us can say that we are absolutely kind. Each one of us has that limit. But Krishna is that absolute kindness. Is that absolutely merciful. It doesn't matter how horrible a person can be. If they come to Krishna, it melts his heart. And therefore he is the personality of Godhead. This is very encouraging for us. Because any other demigod or any other person, I'm not speaking about Guru particularly, but I'm talking about in general in the world, they will not be able to be unlimitedly tolerant and unlimitedly merciful to us. Only Krishna. And that unlimited expression of mercy of Krishna is the embodiment of the spiritual master. Because we hear Tranaya Karunya Ghana Ghanatvam. That ocean of mercy is condensed into this rain cloud. And this rain cloud brings that mercy, the spiritual master. So it's considered that the spiritual master is the form of Krishna's mercy. Unlimitedly merciful. And one can test, if anyone wants, you test how merciful the spiritual master is. You can test, and you will see. However, Krishna's viewpoint is however horrible an act a person may do, Krishna will always, if they have that little spark of interest in Krishna consciousness, the spiritual master will accept that. Even if that spark is lying under massive mountains of other problems. Because that's who Guru is the form of Krishna's mercy. So this is saying that you have all your wonderful opulences, no doubt. And that is clear that is why you are God. But here's the crowning glory, is your causeless mercy. So then the discussion is, how does he express his causeless mercy? And the purport is the explanation that the Supreme Lord is fully satisfied in himself. He does not need anything extraneous to himself. Nothing. He is completely transcendental, so he is free of hunger, thirst, becoming tired, fear, anxiety. These things are not his in his character. Yet, Krishna becomes fearful. Krishna becomes hungry. He becomes thirsty. He acts as if he is helpless. And he approaches his devotees to say, "Can you do this for me, please?" And that is his causeless mercy. And a devotee who understands it feels great joy. Oh, how privileged am I that the Lord wants me to do some service for him. When one doesn't understand that service is a privilege, one sees service as a burden. Like, one more thing. It's a privilege. Krishna, let's take our own temple, for example. Is it impossible for Krishna to manifest everything? He can expand himself as all the pujaris. He can expand himself as all the deity dressers. He can expand himself as all the singers, all the instruments, all the wires, mic, broadcast. He can expand himself as all the tables and chairs. He can expand himself as the entire kitchen, the paraphernalia, the vegetables, the cooks, the spices, the fire. Of course, it already is. And all of it can happen. Because when Lord Brahma took away the calves and cows and all his friends, he was still playing with them. And Lord Brahma came and said, "Who are you playing with?" He was feeding his friends, the cows were there, the calves were there. And the bewildering part for Lord Brahma later was that there was the expansion of his friend there. Let's say Stoka Krishna was there, or a Rakthak, or someone was there in front of Krishna. And Krishna, who knew that these are all me, he's interacting with them as if they are his friends. He knew that I'm the expansion here, I'm the calves and the cows, and he's taking care of them, massaging their bodies, milking them, taking the stick and guiding the cat. It is he. And that is so bewildering. Like, how is that? He knew, he's the one. And his was such amazing, his yogic expression, that even Balaram did not understand. Like, what's going on? Balaram said, there's something that's odd here. The oddity is that I notice, Balaram was thinking, this is for a whole year, that every day all the cows, the calves, the elderly gopis, right? They all are attracted to Krishna. He is at the center of everything. But what is this? Now each mother likes her own son immensely. Each cow likes her own calf immensely. What's going on? When Krishna used to be the center, suddenly they're all affectionate to their own children, their own calves. So what is this? This is odd. Because each of them was Krishna. So anything can happen. But Krishna, to us he appears, he's standing there. I am hungry, it's my lunchtime, my breakfast time, time to put me to rest. Can someone take care of this service? Oh, someone needs to buy boga. Oh, someone needs to go out for preaching, or cooking, dressing. Someone needs to put me to rest, evening time. It's a privilege. He's asking, Prabhupada's writing, he requests his devotee, can you do this for me? Or the request comes to us, can you do this for Krishna, please? Let me see. Can I do it some other day? Can I do something else? Whatever, and the question is, what happened to the whole sense of it's a privilege? Of course, I'm not asking us, I'm not expressing that, we become disorganized. But the idea of a service coming to us is such an honor, such a privilege, that it's like, wow. Not that Krishna cannot do it by himself. Krishna can empower anyone. Somehow he's asking me to do it. Wow, I'm very honored. And that's what Krishna does. Prabhupada's writing here. So here. One who doesn't need anything asks for everything. Sarvadharman parityaja, mam ekam sharanam vraj. Sometimes people think, Krishna is such a needy person. He wants everyone to surrender to him. It is for us, not for him. He doesn't need anything. Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto, coming up, 9th chapter, when he's offering his prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev, he says, my dear Lord, you don't need anything from anyone. However, you give us some service to do, and by that, we are the ones who get decorated by transcendental qualities, just as when a person decorates his own face, he sees that the reflection is also decorated. We're all reflections of Krishna. So when we decorate Krishna, when we offer him services, we as reflections are automatically satisfied. This is the definition of happiness. That the more we serve Krishna, the more happier we become. So this is what Krishna wants. Krishna wants us to be happy. He's already happy, so he doesn't need something from us to become happy. He's asking us to serve him so that void that we have of real love and happiness may be fulfilled. So then he says, Prabhupada, sometimes the Lord, as a child of Mother Yashoda, requests his devotee for some food, as if he were very hungry. I haven't eaten anything. Can you feed me something, please? In the life of Srila Madhavendra Puri, this is a little reference to Srila Madhavendra Puri. Once he was sitting in Vrindavan, and his dream, a little boy came, and is the deity of Gopal. And he said, oh, Madhavendra Puri, I'm so glad you're here in Vrindavan. I'm waiting. I have been waiting for you to come. I am at such and such place near Govardhan. Can you please take care of me? I haven't eaten anything. I have been neglected for a very long time. And when the dream broke, immediately Madhavendra Puri took all the residents of Vrindavan near Govardhan, and they started digging at a particular place. Gopal had showed them where. And under the ground somewhere, they found this beautiful deity of Gopal standing like this. So now today, that deity is worshipped in Gujarat, in Nathdwara. He's called Srinathji, the same deity of Madhavendra Puri. And he said, I'm very hungry. Immediately Madhavendra Puri asked all the residents of Vrindavan, bring whatever you have in your storehouses and pantries, bring it here. Cook wonderful feast. And they kept offering to Gopal, village after village, and day after day. Then they had made a plan. This day, all these villages will cook and offer to Gopal. Tomorrow, all those villages. Day after tomorrow, all these villages. The day after, all of you villages. Please bring. And then Gopal said, now I'm very satisfied. And then a few days later, he spoke again to Madhavendra Puri. So, if you know the map of India, if you're looking at India, this is Vrindavan, and far on the east is Jagannath Puri. So then, in his dream, he said, it's very hot in Vrindavan, summertime, my body is burning. Can you please bring me sandalwood and camphor all the way from Ramuna? Yes, my lord. Is that your order? I will carry your order. At this time, they didn't book a flight, and he walked. He walked through the jungles, forests, went, met the persons at Ramuna. That's when the deity stole the sweet rice, but I'm not going to narrate that pastime, although it's a very sweet pastime. And then he brought, then the devotees there, Madhavendra Puri is such an amazing devotee. They gave him a cartload of sandalwood, camphor, all high quality. And he was read all the papers, so he can pass through all the kingdoms unhindered. So then in the night, Gopal came to his dream, and he said, Gopinath is not different than I. Just offer all the sandalwood there, and I will feel very satisfied here. So it's a privilege to get that kind of service. Can you please do this for me? Or can you please do this for Krishna? Another is, he says, sometimes he tells in a devotee in a dream that his temple and his garden are now very old and he cannot enjoy them very nicely. So another is Sri Balaji. I can't remember other gardens, but specifically what comes to mind is Balaji in Tirupati. Ramanujacharya had this desire, suddenly this dream and this desire that, oh, Balaji loves fresh flowers. Is there anyone who will go there? They were all sitting in Sri Rangam in the association of Ramanujacharya. No one wants to leave that. And go where? Out into the forest somewhere? Without any association? No. So he said, can anyone please do this for Krishna? Arjunacharya, I think it was Anantacharya, he said, I will go. Wow. He went and developed this whole wonderful garden for Sri Balaji. And there are many beautiful pastimes after that. Wonderful garden of everyday fresh flowers. Till today, that garden exists, thousands of years later. Beautiful flowers, you should see. The way they have these garlands on Balaji is unbelievable. Flowers and flowers and flowers. Of course, he's also bedecked with diamonds and rubies and emeralds. But they went and made a garden for him. Or then he says, he requests his devotee to repair them. Sometimes he is buried in the earth as if unable to come out himself. He requests his devotees to rescue him. Madhavendra Puri, can you please help me? Can I please? Even the Govindaji deity was found like that by Rupa Goswami. Every day a cow would come to that place and she would stand there, and suddenly from her udders so much milk would just drop. And Rupa Goswami said, what is this? Every day, such a particular time, a cow will come and she will drop so much milk there. And then he knew something must be special about this place. When they dug, they found Govindaji, his deity, Govindadev. So the cow was coming every day to feed him milk and do abhishek. Like that. Sometimes, there are many, many such pastimes. Even recently I heard His Holiness Romapad Maharaj went to South India, and in Guruvayur temple, it's described that one day there was this guy, he's a coconut vendor, green coconuts. So suddenly this particular pujari, he comes by and he says, can I get a green coconut, like fresh? So the vendor says, okay, I'll go get for you. So he goes to find a nice coconut or something. It takes a while for him to come. So the pujari leaves. So he brings all these coconuts and he says, oh, he has left. So he goes to the temple, searching for that pujari, saying, oh, he wanted the coconut water. And he asks around, which of the pujaris? They said, none of us left the temple. No one asked for coconut water. He said, no, one of the pujaris, he came. So then all the pujaris, they discussed and they came to the conclusion that it was the deity, Lord Guruvayur, who was looking for coconut water. So from that day on, this man's family, every day at a particular time, they will bring, I think, 11 or 12 fresh coconuts, get the water out, and with that they will do abhishek for Guruvayur. He's thirsty. Or the Jagannath near Mayapur, Rajapur Jagannath. Man, is that Jagannath really playful and tricky? Beautiful pastimes. And there's not like ancient ones, just recent ones. So I'll tell you one, which is my favorite one. So right next to that Jagannath temple is a jackfruit grove. And that jackfruit grove is carefully guarded. So one day the gardener or the guard, he noticed that some jackfruits are missing from the tree. I don't know if you've seen a jackfruit. Have you seen a jackfruit? How big it is? Okay. A jackfruit is like this massive fruit. And inside it has all these clusters of pulp with a little seed inside. And they're all together. Think of it as a extremely exploded pomegranate. Except that the skin is spiky and it's a heavy fruit. And it's sweet like anything. The pulp inside is sweet like anything. Nice yellow, golden looking fruit. So he noticed that some are missing. So he said, I'm going to keep watch today. And then one day he noticed that there were two boys up on the tree enjoying jackfruit. So he said, hey, who goes there? So two boys jumped down. This guy was in hot pursuit of the boys because he wanted to hold them. So they ran around the fence and entered the temple courtyard. So he ran behind them. And when he came inside the temple courtyard, he couldn't find the boys. He thought maybe they're hiding somewhere. The temple altar was locked and all that. So he asked the pujari, did you see two boys come here? He said, no, I've been here. No one came. He said, no, I have proof. And he said, when one of the boys ran, his dhoti got stuck in the fence and it ripped a piece. So I have that cloth here, so I know when I see the boy. The pujari saw the cloth. He was astonished. He opened the altar and he saw Balaram's dhoti was torn. Lord Balaram was the mischievous thief. He and Jagannath were stealing jackfruit. So they're hungry and they're doing these things. And it's a service for the devotees that they enjoy this. Wow, such an amazing thing. So Krishna becomes hungry, thirsty, feels helpless. Why? It is His causeless mercy. In the first line it says, Tvam kripaya bhutya. This is His mercy. Because it is endearing. When we do service for each other, it's endearing. In the first canto, Prabhupada writes that the most congenial form of intimacy is the relationship of servant and served. So when we serve together or we serve each other, the heart becomes endeared and endearing for the other. Sometimes we shy away. Oh, I cannot take any service. Well, it's not for you. You take it on behalf of Krishna. Because Rupa Goswami gave 6, right? 3 pairs. He didn't say dadati, bhojayate, bhunkte, and he didn't say gukhyam prichhati. He gave the pairs of things. Dadati, pratigrannhati. You have to take. If everyone gives and no one takes, then what's the meaning of a relation? What's the meaning of an exchange? If all you're doing is speaking your heart without asking anything in return, or just asking and not sharing your heart, what does it mean? Gift giving or prasadam. I will only serve you prasadam. I cannot take from you because, what is this? It's always in pairs because that is what makes the heart endeared. So we offer to Krishna and Krishna returns it back. Oh, please take. Take my mercy. Take this opportunity for exchange. So then, so what's the principle? And Prabhupada gives us from the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Nimitta matra bhava savyasacham. That actually Krishna can take care of everything. He just wants us to be an instrument. And that instrumentality brings us the sense of full satisfaction. Then he said, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was quite competent enough to spread his name and mission all over the world, but still he depended upon his devotee to do this work. So once Srila Prabhupada was sitting in Mayapur, I think, or Vrindavan, all the devotees were there, and Prabhupada said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Prabhupada said, even one devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can liberate this entire universe. Bhaktivinoda Thakur could have liberated the whole universe. So then one of the devotees asked Prabhupada, if that's the case, why didn't he do it? Logical question. And Prabhupada's answer was, he left us some service to do. If he can do everything, then what are we going to do? So he left us some service to do. This is the mood. The spiritual master, he can do everything. But he says, can you cook for me? Can you iron my clothes? Can you do this? And can you, talk to them. So can you take care of this? It's not like the spiritual master is helpless. Actually, he's helping us. We're not helping him. It is his way by which he's drawing us closer to Krishna's heart. This is Karunya. So when we sing in the morning, Taranaya Karunya Ghanaganatvam. The meaning is that the spiritual master is devising many, many ways, services, opportunities to draw us closer to Krishna. He himself has no needs. But because he's serving Krishna, Krishna manifests all these needs so that there are opportunities for everyone. We say that Krishna is unlimited, and my realization is that service to Krishna is also unlimited. Not only in each service in and of itself is unlimited, but there are unlimited services for Krishna. Unlimited service. Every moment there is something or the other to do. So that's at least my sense of gathering the mode of this purport. So very nice statement. End with this. Considering all these points, the most important aspect of the Supreme Lord's self-sufficiency is that he depends on his devotees. How can you be self-sufficient and depend on your devotees? That is Krishna's self-sufficiency. He depends on his devotees. That's the paradox, if you will. It's a way of drawing us closer to him. This is called his causeless mercy. The devotee who has perceived this causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by realization can understand the master and the servant. This is Krishna's way of giving us the gift of self-realization. This sentence can be understood in reference to Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, when Krishna says, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Because when there is loving devotional service, then one is gifted by the revelation of Krishna's identity and our own identity. Yavan yaschashmi tattvataha. That one you will come to know by loving devotional service who I am in truth. Tato mam tattvato gyatva. Vishate tad anantaram. So that truth is necessary, and that only Krishna can reveal. And he reveals it through the medium of devotional service. So it's a great privilege. It's not or it's not another activity. It's a privilege. Now on a practical level, since we are also limited, we might be able to not do two at the same time. Or we may not be able to manage so many or beyond so many in a day. Each of us has different capacities. Some may be able to do so many, some may be able to do not as many. But when we are not able to do as many, it's easy to resign to, that's not my capacity, which is a truthful statement, no problem. But along with that statement should be a little evaluation of oneself. Our capacity is a function or an outcome of our sadhana bhakti. When we chant Hare Krishna nicely, properly, or trying to be attentive, then we are asking Krishna and Radharani something. Please engage me in your service. Please engage me in your service. This is important. My life depends upon serving you. Please engage me in your service. So then naturally service will come. And along with that service comes the capacity. However, service and capacity always have this relationship. It's never this way. If it is this way, then that's an indicator that, oh, Haribol, there's room. Because the day we have more capacity and less service, what happens? If you have more capacity and less service, we will sleep, our mind will run away, we might become proud. Oh, look at me, I can manage all these things. So many things I can do and still. But when the service is above our capacity, not just in terms of, the difficulty of it, the number, the difficulty, whatever it is, it's Krishna always will keep it on a healthy level, that our capacity always falls short of what is needed, because there's an important element that is necessary there, like the most essential element. And what is that? Krishna, help me. How am I supposed to do all this? Krishna likes that. Very good. Otherwise we will think, all right, Krishna, keep it on, keep it coming. I don't need your help, I'll take care of this. So, always a little more than we can handle. At the same time, the devotee should aspire for increasing that capacity. Please, Krishna, give me the capacity to serve you. Another is, on a practical level, our capacity is constrained by physical conditions, health, whatever. Mental condition, definitely. If we join the NASA space program, then we are usually space cadets, we sort of space out. So our mental condition, time, and the kind of service itself. Like if someone were to ask me, can you go and paint the roof of the ceiling of the Prasadam hall like Jitendra Prabhu does up on the scaffolding? I mean, it would take me 20 years to finish one thing. It's just not my thing. I may have a different strength. Someone else has a different strength. Someone else has a different strength. So yes, we need to find that strength, no doubt. But physical. So it's very important to take care of our physical condition, our health. Not just health that, now I'm sick, I need to take care of my health. No, health in general must be taken care of. Mind must be taken care of regularly, in fact every day. Savai mana Krishna padar vindayoho. When the mind has opportunities to meditate on our service, how we can improve our service, someone else's wonderful service capacity, someone else's services, expression of appreciation to them, expression of appreciation to Krishna, thank you for giving me this wonderful service, our mind remains healthy. Then we don't space out, we don't become mental. Even if someone says, what have you done? Can you do it that way? From tomorrow I won't do anything. First of all, it's not even grateful. I'm doing this, not this is all being on the mental platform. If someone says, why like this, do like that? Krishna is speaking, very nice, thank you, I can become more efficient that way. Oh, who are you to tell me? So first of all, all the dialogue that happens inside. This mental platform. That's simple. Krishna is asking me to do that. Okay, I'll do it that way. Of course, depends on who's saying something, but get the idea. Then we take that, oh, Krishna is giving me feedback. Imagine doing a service and never getting a feedback. Never. Is that sound okay to you? That you're doing a service and no one tells you anything. If it's okay, if it's not okay, you're doing all right, you're not doing all right. No one ever tells you. I would never want to do a service like that. I would appreciate if someone tells me, hey, come on, you didn't notice that? Did you notice that one? Can you do it this way? Oh, thank you, we like it this way, we don't like it that way. I should know. Then that tells me, oh, okay, I know what I'm doing. No, all devotees keep quiet. No one gives any feedback to anyone. And for 20 years we'll be doing everything wrong. So Krishna will reveal to him, what is this? So it's important. It's important, especially if I'm taking feedback. Oh, okay. Let me know. It doesn't mean we don't ask questions. If someone tells us, can you do it that way? Then we ask, so help me please see why that is better or how does this discussion. But it's the mood is, I want to improve my service. So physically taking care, mentally taking care. Very, very important. Third is time. Look at our day. Are there places that I totally waste time? Sure. Then that means our sense of efficiency of how we are ordering our day needs to be looked at. If not us, someone should help us. Hey, order your day this way and you can do a lot more. A lot more for yourself, and more than anything else. So that's why we need friends, we need the devotees to tell us, order yourself this way, do your thing that way. The first killer for service, like I said, everything hinges on our sadhana. Once I heard Gauranga Prabhu say, it was funny, but it was so real. He said, if you don't chant your rounds in the morning, then what happens? What about the 16 rounds? There is some mystical thing about it. If you don't chant it during the japa period, what happens to those 16 rounds? First of all, they feel like 64. Second of all, they take away the whole day for some reason. Notice that? Somehow 3 or 4 rounds here, 2 there, 1 there, last 1 round before going to bed. Somehow those 16 expand into the whole day. And then he was narrating, you have your hand in your bead bag because you haven't been up for japa period, right? Prabhu, can you do this service? Chanting is most important. According to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, number 1 is chanting. I'm chanting my rounds, Prabhu. So the devotee say, all right, Prabhu. And they go. So then the devotee will be chanting Hare Krishna. And then his mind will be like, I didn't do that service. What will they think of me? I wish I had done that service while chanting. So then he says, all right, let me do the service. I'll come back and chant. So he leaves his bead bag, picks up the service. And while he's serving, he's not thinking this is for Krishna. I wish I had chanted my rounds. I don't know why they asked me to serve. When can I go chant my rounds? I need to chant my rounds. So the service is not done properly. Chanting is also not done. Service is also not done. Or then the whole mood is somehow get this 16 out of my way. There's such an hindrance. There's such a obstruction for anything else. I just cannot live. What is this? That was Prabhupada's thing after with Shrutakirti Prabhu, once he moved all his 16 beads down. Prabhupada counter beads. She saw Shrutakirti Prabhu, put his beads in his bead bag, put his bead bag and said, done with 16. I can do whatever nonsense I want now. Everything is ordered for us by Prabhupada. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to sit here figure out, how shall my day look like? Prabhupada's ordered it for us. Just follow it. Get up early, chant around, whole day is open. No. Late nights, something. I cannot get up early in the morning. Some. And then we then become wonderful, instead of wonderful devotees, we become wonderful circus people because we're always juggling and contorting ourselves to fit into that day. It's not healthy. We will not last in Krishna consciousness, that's for sure. Therefore Prabhupada said, don't be surprised how many come. Be surprised by how many stay. We are hurting ourselves. Others, it's not going to, we're there, we have some wonderful time. We are hurting ourselves. No one else is hurt. We are hurting ourselves. If our things are not done in the right order, in the right space, we're hurting ourselves. So, those are some thoughts. Any comments, questions? Himanshu? It's right there.
Hey, Prabhu. It's nice to see that even though you're quite sick, visibly, you're still taking the effort to come and give us class.
I did monkey service. Half everywhere. Nothing completed.
There's a statement you made at the beginning in your class. You said there's nothing that Krishna wants from us, and of course you mean to say that he doesn't want anything material from us. Obviously, he's God. But then there's this idea that you were expressing in the second half of your class about increasing our you could say our service output in one sense. So the two ideas seem to me to be a little bit contradictory, because if he's not desiring something from us, in a tangible way, rather he wants to taste the devotion behind it, then the idea of increasing my service output, and then, the two seem a little contradictory. Could you explain?
Okay, thank you. So service output is both qualitative and quantitative. Okay. Both qualitative and quantitative. Quality brings quantity. So it's not just that I do one service and I do it very nicely. Yeah, that's good. That is how it should be too. But we will see that quality brings quantity. For example, if we chanted one round nicely, we also felt like, I should come to 16. The whole idea of devotional service is, Prabhupada would say, 24 hours a day engaged in service. So there's a sense of quantity in it. Even if it is one thing, if you can do that all the time. So for example, let's say chanting. It's not so much variety, but let's say chanting. If we can chant 24 hours a day, fantastic. Can we? Not yet. So we need things that need to fill up our time of conscious movement. So there's variety. It can be fewer things, that's fine. But service output is both in quality and quantity. It's just the nature of being with Krishna. There's so much to do. That's what I meant. Not so much necessarily that everyone should have like 50 things that they have to do. No. Prabhupada's given us enough things to do. To chant, to read, to hear, and whatever services that we have that fills the other part of the day. Come back and you hear again, or study again, or something, and rest again, glorify Krishna. Those are all services. But it's not. What happens is one is compromised for another. Because somewhere I didn't follow the order, or I didn't wake up, so I didn't chant. So then other things get all compromised. That's different.
Would you say that if an action, let's use the word action first before we use the word service, if an action is missing the qualitative aspect, that it can't be called service?
Well,
for it to be called service, it has to include both the quantitative
service
and the
has
qualitative.
two aspects. One is the external expression, and the other is the internal expression. Okay. Now the external expression, in the absence of the internal expression, is also service, but the sukriti is called agyata. You get something, but it's not the full thing. But when the internal piece is also there, because our process is an inside-out process, it's not an outside-in. It's not like bicycling. It's not like tennis. It's not like typing. That's a skill. That's an outside-in. Ours is an inside-out. So the reference is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a verse that Bahu Janma Kare Yadi. For many lifetimes you can do your hearing and chanting. But if the mind's not included in it, you don't get anything from it. You get something, but we're not looking for just something. We're looking for love for Godhead. Right? That's our ultimate goal. Because if only the externals are moving, then one will get, of course, because we're serving Krishna. But what one will get is another human birth, maybe. That's not what we want. We don't want another human birth. We don't want another pious birth. We don't want to be born again in some devotee's family. We just want once and for all. That's our attempt. Correct. Now it lies in Krishna's hands, but that's our attempt. So it's in our own benefit that when we are doing something, that internally our heart's also participating in it. To whatever degree we can. Oh, my dear Krishna, this is for you. Please accept this. No, there's no problem.
So then is it really fair, since you made this very beautiful point that our process is inside out, not outside in, and if somebody's doing something externally but internally he's not connected, or internally he's not in a mood of devotion, then although it's service, he will get a gyata sukriti. That's what you said. So my question is this then, is it really fair to call it service if he or she, the soul, is not internally in a mood of devotion? Because service would really mean, because clearly Krishna with that verse, Putram Pasham Phalam Toyam, he makes it very clear, I'm not interested in the external.
Right.
I'm only interested in the bhav that comes with the offering.
That is correct.
So that means, is it really fair to call it service if, we don't want people to feel bad, of course, but technically speaking, philosophically speaking, can you really call it service if internally you're not there, or you're spaced out, or there's no bhav in the same?
Yeah. So refer back to the first line, Yathatvam Kripaya. Krishna is, the way Krishna makes concessions is unbelievable. So for us, there's no bhav. Krishna, this is not even service. But Krishna says, well, you could have spent your time somewhere else. You could be doing something else. At least you're here. You're doing something for me. You may not know it. Hridayantasto hi abhadrani vidhunoti. Krishna then, suhrit, because he's the best friend, he then starts removing it. And he does for different people in different ways. Once in a while, that service opportunity may be lost. And he's like, no, I really want it. I don't want to lose it. So that's the bhav, that's there. The taste is there. Of course, something is there. Because bhava, it's a whole spectrum. Someone's body can be trembling in ecstasy when they're offering an arati or something. Someone can be like, my mind, why did the devotee say? There may be a whole different place somewhere. But within the fact that they have made it here, they're doing this, Krishna takes them, because there is some commitment there. Because it's very easy, especially in Kali Yuga, to drop commitment. At the very first challenge, forget it. You do on your own, get lost. Right? That's just nature. No, I have to do this. The sense of obligation is there. So Krishna says that's, at least I've understood, that Krishna accepts that this love is at that stage right now. It's on a very obligatory stage. That's fine. I'll accept that. At least they're obliged. Let me help. For someone else, it may be a whole different, oh, Krishna, I'm so honored. I'm very honored to be at your service. Whatever. For different persons, can be different things. It's all the same spectrum. It's sweet. Krishna is very kripaya. Yeah, that's the word today, kripaya.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for a wonderful class, because these are the type of classes I could hear every day and never get tired on this gratitude point.
It must be the magic of the devotees' tea. Something came out of mouth.
These points in general, it's a long story. I have many things to say on this point, especially in regards to my life, kind of in regards to you too. And, but it's funny. But I was talking to Goloka Prabhu about it recently. But recently I was watching 2 lectures yesterday in regards to this gratitude point. One by my brother and one by Prabhupada. Prabhupada, it's a long story, but it was on Bhaktisiddhanta's disappearance day.
It's a long story, but keep it short.
I'll try slow down. I won't try to condense it in 2 seconds. So essentially Prabhupada was, of course, offering his gratitude to Bhaktisiddhanta, because he was explaining that, Bhaktisiddhanta appeared in my dreams many times, asking me to take sannyas and, start preaching. And Prabhupada used the word, I was horrified. I was horrified because, of course, at the time he had a family and a business. And Prabhupada made the point that, lucky for me, and my business wasn't working out too well. And at the end of the lecture, Prabhupada kind of started weeping in tears. He couldn't even finish the lecture. It ended, thanking his disciples for helping him, depend on his disciples. He was expressing his gratitude to all his disciples for helping him fulfill the mission of his spiritual master. And so these points I think are kind of essential. Like I think my brother made the point one day, something to the extent of a gratitude. He didn't say like Bhakti Sastri, he didn't say gratitude Sastri, but something like that. So in regards to my own life, in regards to serving here in Kishori, I brought up one particular incident with Goloka Prabhu. He remembered it, and I'm sure you'll remember it too. It was during Govardhan Puja, so it wasn't so many brahmacharis in the temple at the time. So there was, essentially, two main pot washers, me and Henry. And on the festival days, it was, mainly me. And so one Govardhan Puja day, of course, there's going to be a lot of pots. It's Govardhan Puja. And so that day was actually a college program. College programs was kind of the only thing that kept me, enthused and alive. And so on the Govardhan Puja day, I was like, I'll go to, the college program, then I'll come back and help with pots. So somehow or other, Goloka Prabhu was in the kitchen at the time, and he heard me say this. And so he asked me, he was like, no, Prabhu, there's not too many, devotees around. You're the main, you better please stay here. And so I was like, no, I'll go, it's fine, I'll come back. And so then he went and told you about it. And so then you came down and was like, stay here, you're the main pot washer, we need you around here. And so then I was like, I was mad. But then I realized that, maybe 5 minutes later, it would go to the gratitude point, because previously I had my cake incident. So I was like, I vowed after the cake incident, don't get upset at anything. So then I went back to the cake incident as a reference. And I was just thinking of gratitude is like the college programs are every week. I could, miss one of them, first of all. And then I realized that this, I was mad, but I realized that this, it wasn't anger, but it was, frustration. I was, but that actually helped me do the pots that whole day, even though it wasn't so much help. I kind of, in retrospect, appreciate it, because that I was washing pots, at a world record pace. So then I realized how Krishna was merciful. He knew that, I wasn't going to get so much help.
I want to say two things. Thank you for sharing that. It reminded me of something. First, Himanshu said, oh, today your health's not okay, and you did all these things. But the true thing is, I only did half of each thing, and then there are other devotees who are not, you can't see, that are actually taking care of the mess I left halfway. Rasika Manjari is there, Gokulananda is there, Mukunda Raghunath's there, and they're fitting it all together, because I left it and ran up here. Radharaman Prabhu says one thing which I really appreciate. He doesn't speak many words. When he says it, sometimes it's just a little like an arrow. He says, Prabhuji, service means when we do what we are asked to do. If I do whatever I like, it's not necessary, it's called service. Service means it has to be given to us by someone. Please do this. So that's called service. If I come to Krishna and say, I will do this for you, it may not be service. So that principle that when we do what we are asked to do, that is service. Versus, let's say, no pots. I want to do college preaching. My service to Krishna is college preaching. Who asked you to do that? Do what you're asked to do. I narrated the story last night to Prahlad that earlier I've done this. I met a man I had known very well in our Bhakti Vrikshas. I met him there in the lobby and I asked him, so how's chanting going on? So he said, oh, I haven't been chanting. Why? My mind's been fixed on how I can make a lot of money and donate $1 million to this temple, so this temple will not have any more financial problems ever. I said, very good. How do you know this is the service Krishna wants you to do? How do you know that Krishna would like you to bring $1 million? I said, I don't know. I said, then that's not your service. You chant Hare Krishna. That's the service Prabhupada asked us to do. You chant Hare Krishna. If someone comes and tells you, can you bring $1 million for the temple? Then it is your service. Otherwise, it's not your service. Now, that doesn't mean there's no initiative. Don't mix it up and say tomorrow, the temple floor is unclean, and we'll say, nobody asked me to pick it up, right? Vaishnava Sevananda. Don't mix up. Nityananda Pradhan Prabhu said, it's not your service. No, there is room for initiative. You should always take initiative. but things like that you should know. It should be given. Service is given. Okay. Anyone else?
Can I say one more thing in this regard? Is that possible?
Can it be
I didn't get a chance to finish. One other point I want to mention, since
Can it
it's
be
only,
short?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
try to make it short as possible.
Try it, please.
So this regards to something right out the Maharaj said. He said, regardless, one lecture I was watching, regardless of, whether you're in a high position or low position, one can be proud from any position. And so he gave the example, even if you're homeless, you'll find something to be proud of. If homeless people are, surrounded by rats, one of them will say, you see, the rats like me better than you. They could sense my purity or something like that, something to that extent. So in regards to the pot watching incident, I remember, I'm just admitting some of my mistakes, so, because people can learn from other people's mistakes. So I remember, like you said, there was only 2 pot watchers at the time during Sunday feast, me and Henry. And so, back then, like I said, wasn't so many devotees, in the temple to help out. So essentially what happened was I was able to finish the pots around 10:30, sometimes max 11. So it wasn't no big deal. And the Sunday feast used to end at 9. So it was no big deal. But as gradually time kept on spending, years kept on spending, the pot started expanding. And I would be later, all the way up to midnight, sometimes 1. My cutoff point was midnight for many times. I stopped, I was like, whatever pots are left or spoons left, I'm leaving, I'm too tired, it's like a marathon. So, in general, I would ask, devotees, I would ask, Prabhu, can you please help me? And they'd be like, I have to get up from my guard seat. This one, gradually, devotees start moving in. And I was like, so then I'll ask, what about 5 hours ago? I asked you, I had to go to the program. So I would gradually, ask everyone. And so then I would, as my rage increased, it wasn't really rage, it was just frustration. My fault finding started to increase. I was like, am I the only Vaishnava doing all these humble services? This is
Yes,
ridiculous.
you are only Vaishnava there.
This is ridiculous. Am I the only Vaishnava in all of creation? I'm obviously the only one in Chicago. Krishna, just let me know. And so then Krishna gave him the opportunity. He said, no, you're not. So he gave him the opportunity to do many other services, samples of them. Like Burfi, I was explaining this before. I realized Burfi took 5 hours to do, and I only did it for a half hour. One devotee, made me do it. And so then I was like, this is pretty hellish. So I pretty much prefer my pot service. And then I had the opportunity to do flower service. And I'm thinking I would probably rather do more Govardhan pujas than flower service. I didn't even get to do the whole flower service, like putting them on a string, but I was doing like chop it up for like. So pretty much this gratitude point is essential because devotees are so merciful that they'll never kick you out of the temple. And we can see this in many things, but Maya will kick you out if we become so ungrateful and we complain about so many things. And this one lesson that I learned from Jitendra Prabhu, he doesn't like me talking about him, but essentially Jitendra is many times, this last point I'll mention, is that even up to this year, but throughout the many years, he'll say, God, I hope, I don't get kicked out, I can't attend all the programs. So the lesson is that we should never think we're irreplaceable. Just like this verse says, Krishna could do everything for us. But we should always be grateful for the service that Krishna, and my brother made the same point. We may have bickering amongst each other, but just think of our association before Krishna conscious devotees. We were doing all types of activities and had such bad association, so we can't tolerate the little bickering, around, devotees. So these gratitude points, should always be keep on our mind every day at every single moment. So, Hare Krishna. Thank
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
I'm not mad, those just dramatics.